Hi, this is Tonya Sheridan with Close to My Heart and 𝐂𝐲𝐧𝐧𝐞. I want to welcome you today and wish you a very happy new year. And I am going to show you some of the new products that Close to My Heart has and specials that are going on during the month of January. It's so exciting to be in a new year. I'm so happy that 2021 is finally here. So first of all, I have a couple of specials for you. If you make a $50 purchase, then you will receive a pack of our Perfect Match mini hearts, which are adorable. You'll see them all around my workspace, as well as this cute Sending Love stamp set and a free online class. If you make a $100 purchase, you're going to receive both of those, and then also a pack of our brand new Slimline cards. Yes, Close to My Heart has jumped in on the Slimline bandwagon. And so you get this wonderful pack of cards as well as the envelopes. And then of course you still get the free postage stamp as well as the mini hearts and access to the free online class. So that's an awesome deal for you. There's additional specials featured in my shop. And then also we have this brand new Stamp of the Month. And this is one of my favorites that we've had in quite a long time. So if you're not familiar with our Stamp of the Month program, if you make a $50 purchase, a qualifying purchase, then you get to purchase this stamp set for $5. And it has awesome thank yous, which is great for January, right? Thank you for helping us through the holiday season. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for doing that. And then something that you can use all year long. And you can mix and match these sentiments and the way that you put the words together. I'll show you a couple of examples of those in a little while. The other way that you can get this is if you become a VIP with me, then when you make a $50 purchase each month, or every month you make a $50 purchase, you get the Stamp of the Month totally free, which is awesome, awesome. So you'll find details on that on my Close to My Heart website, and I'll also link those to the video at the end. But it's a great, great deal. And then my other special is in January, all month long, I'm going to have a layout, sassy layout series. So each day in January, there will be a new layout kit and a coordinating product special available on my blog and in my shop. And so that is www.inallsassiness.com. With that, you can purchase the days that you want collectively, and then they'll ship all together at the first week of February with a Valentine's surprise. So that way you get to save on the shipping and you don't feel like, wow, I can't pay the shipping fee 15, 16 times. You can ship it all together. So I thought that that was an awesome thing that I wanted to point out. That will be January 1st through the 31st. And again, it's at www.inallsassiness.com. Now, if you haven't shopped with me before, I do have this site that I just told you about. That is a landing site. So when you go to that landing site, it'll give you the option to go to my Close to My Heart store where you can become a VIP or purchase from the regular product, or you can go to my shop, which is where you'll find all my custom specials, my retired products, and my custom art and kits. So make sure you check that out. Again, it's www.inallsassiness.com. So I thought that I would start off, if I can get my little paper off, there we go, by showing you something exciting for the month of January. So January, we all like fresh new starts, right? So I have created a calendar. This is our Perpetual Calendar. You can purchase just the kit for the pieces, or you can purchase the pieces as well as the calendar base and the wood platform. So whatever you'd like to do. I've had several people purchase just the pieces and then they've used them in their scrapbooks versus on this type of a calendar, or they've used them on like a 12 by 12 format. So that choice is yours, but I did make that as an option so you can do either one. So we have January and February, and I'll just flip through these real quick. We have March, April. These all focus on our specialty glitter papers and holographic papers. So there's May and June, and that one's got a lot of holographic in it. July, August, September, October, November, and then finally finishing off with December. So I thought that that was super fun, and I wanted to show that to you as well. Okay, so let's jump into our brand new book and brand new collections. So the first item I could not wait to show you is our penguins. Love them, they're so cute. Let me grab a card base so that you can see them better. hopefully I can catch the clear. You can see that I've already used them a lot. So these little guys come with the stamp set, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at this little guy's glasses. Not adorable, completely adorable, right? They also come with a thin cut set. So the thin cut is Close to My Heart's version of a die cut. So you can cut out the little penguin, or you can fussy cut them. They're not hard to fussy cut. I actually got my set before the thin cut was available, and I had no problem cutting them out. So this is one of our brand new sets. It's really adorable, and I wanted to show you a few of the cards that I created with it. So these all partner with the Lattice Background die cut, which is a beautiful die cut system or set. It's set to fit a standard A2 card, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it fits that size perfectly. It has this beautiful embossing, as well as the cutting of the scallop edges and the little pieces out of the center. So I paired it with our scallop circle for this little one and added some snowflakes in a title that was cut on the Cricut, and then colored the little penguin guy in. And I just think it's adorable. And then I used, for the eyes, I used the Black Onyx Pearl from Ranger, which just totally popped out the eyes and made them very, very cute and adorable. So that was the first card. The second card that I did is, again, using some Cricut cuts and that scallop punch. And this little guy has some shimmer brushes that were used to color him in. Of course, you could use markers, or you could use colored pencils or watercolors or whatever you'd like. But he is just adorable with all of his little layers of his sweaters and his hat and so forth. And then this one I did a little pun because I thought it was cute. So this one I did Baby It's COVID Outside. Of course, there's another sentiment that you can pair with it. And then it has little snowflakes. And I cut out a stamped little mask for my penguins, which you could do with or without the mask. But there's a beautiful scallop border down here and just all sorts of fun things. So you can actually purchase the thin cut for the Lattice Background, as well as the penguins in my shop, and this cute little scallop. And if you would like the cards, they're also available as well. So you can purchase those as a set of 3. There is an alternate verse for the COVID Outside, and of course, again, the mask are completely optional. So one of the things that I am probably the most excited about is that we have jumped in on the Slimline deal. And I love the Slimline. We've had several cards that we've created with them. I've just cut and measured the cardstock and made my own envelopes. Well, now that we have it from Close to My Heart, it makes life so much easier. But with this, we have this brand new die, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So what it's going to cut out is like this. Let's flip it over so you can see it better. And I'm going to put one of those bases underneath it so you can see it even more clearly. But it's going to cut out all of these pieces, okay? And so that's the way that it's going to cut. And then you can use these extra pieces to piece back into the card, which I'm going to show you in a few minutes. And I think that that is just awesome. You'll also notice around the edges that there is a stitched border. So that's a second little enhancement to really pop. So I thought I would show you a couple of things. This is using my little penguin again, using this die, and I've made it a shaker card. So you can see how I've placed some of those little pieces back in. I just simply cut it from a second piece, placed them back in. I'm using the thank you stamp from the January stamp of the month, and again, the little penguin. And I'll list the colors that I used that coordinate really well. But then if you look closely, it is a shaker card. And I will show you how to make that shaker in a little while. And it's using these hearts. So super fun, partnering all 3 of the things that I'm talking about, the die, the penguin, and the stamp of the month. So this one I tried to do vertically. And I don't know if a lot of people are doing the vertical Slimline cards or not. I just thought it was too awesome not to use because it kind of looks like a little heart slot machine. So for this one, I used several of the sentiments from the January stamp of the month, and I just mixed them up. So I have thank you so much and just mix them up. I have the shaker and the acetate underneath so that it becomes a true shaker card. And I love the way that the hearts kind of come down the little channels or the little tunnels that I've created. The next one I tried a different way. And so this is the same type thing. It's our Slimline card. It's using pieces from our brand new Perfect Match specialty collection that's available in January. And I added some shimmer trim, and I used the heart shaker. Now the heart shaker works really well, and we're going to use it in a few minutes, but you have a rim, and that's the base, and then you have the stitched edge, and then it's popped up on these wonderful shakers with it already cut out for you in the shape of the heart. It has the foam and then the acetate, so it creates that shaker for you. But if you look really closely, you'll notice that it has Love You stamped on the inside, and that is something brand new. And so I had to show it to you. It is completely awesome. It just came out, so hopefully you're not getting too much of a glare. Again, let me pull a piece of white paper on. That does help a little bit. Okay, so here's the stamp, and you'll see that there's a heart in the center with little stitch marks. That is this die, okay? So it's showing you how that can work. And then you have a thinking of you that can go on the outside. You have the love you, love you, love you that can go on the inside. There's some other sentiments as well that you can use with this, but it pairs beautifully and was designed specifically to go around this thin cut, which I think is wonderful. We've had these for about 6 months or so, and they are fabulous. So with this one, as I said, I used the shaker little elements, and instead of doing it flat, I popped it up. I have the acetate, and it is a true shaker card. And these little guys are so much fun. They're almost like little foam pieces, but they are really adorable, and there's something different versus like your traditional confetti or that type of thing that we're using. We've also got a special one for this month, or for this catalog, and it's like almost like little, it says flowers, but to me, I think it looks almost like iridescent snowflakes, but you could use flowers, whatever you'd like. So we have those that you could do the shaker cards with as well, but I just really enjoyed using this Perfect Match, these little confetti pieces. So here you see that I have, as the shaker, here I took it to a different level. I stamped the outside of that stamp, the thinking of you, right? I stamped the inside, which is the love you, love you, love you. And then the stitch I cut out of the argyle paper from our Perfect Match and popped it up on foam, but I don't have the acetate. So I just wanted to give you some variations because I truly believe that when you purchase a product, I want you to be able to maximize the way that you can use it. So not just use this for one type of shaker card, but you could use it with and without the shakers. Then I just took a tiny piece of that argyle paper and I stamped the Get Well Soon on the edge. So I thought that that was lots of fun as well. So with all of that, I wanted to show you one more stamp that I absolutely adore. It is brand new. In fact, it's so brand new that it literally just came in yesterday and I didn't get a chance to even work with it before recording this video. So it is our Scrabble tiles. You'll see that each letter has the corresponding little number like your Scrabbles would. It also has this really cool wood grain piece at the bottom. So the wood grain piece you could stamp as a background, so it'll truly authentically look like your Scrabble tiles. And then there is the piece to stamp to look like the tile as well. And you can purchase it with the thin cuts. So you have 3 little thin cuts to make your life easier and faster, and such adorableness. So I will have some artwork created by the time this video goes live, and you can check that out on my blog and in my shop as well. But I wanted to show it to you because it's just so much fun, and I can see it working in tons of different possibilities for both your cards and your layouts. So I told you that we had a special for this month, and it's called Perfect Match. And so I wanted to show you a layout that I did featuring this. Here's a few of the stickers that I did not use. So there's lots of wealth of different colors and stickers that can be used. But I wanted to show you how you could use this slimline die that's made for cards, right, with a layout, because as I said, I like to maximize my product. So the slimline die does go to about there, and you can see it does about there. So if you're using it on a layout and you're carrying your piece all the way across, you just need to have like a barrier or a hiding spot, which would be this paper here and this little title here. So those covered where my pieces broke, and I still have my edges all the way through. Now I opted not to make this as a shaker. I've got a little flurry on there. Not to make it as a shaker, but just use the design to enhance the layout. And this is all available in January. It is our Perfect Match collection. It's also the paper that I've used on the cards as well. Okay, so with this paper, you can buy it in bundles, and all of those are going to be listed on my site. The more of the product line that you purchase, the cheaper the bundle price, so that's always an awesome deal. But here is the exclusive stamp set that is available with it. So this has Perfect Match. It has the little matches. My son thought they were drum mallets because he plays drums, which we can make them work. But lots of fun titles that could be used for a scrapbook or a layout. And again, that is available with the Perfect Match. So now that I've shown you all of those things, I want to get right down to it, and I want to teach you how to use our Slimline die and make it a shaker. So this is the card that I created, and it is using the heart die that I showed you. It's using the stamp, right? It's using the stitched die. This comes from our Stitched Heart collection, and then I'm using the ballerina glitter paper as well as the straight paper, and then acetate. And I'm going to show you how to use that. So to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to move all of our pieces over, and we're going to pull out our acetate. So the acetate was actually purchased from Cricut. Close to My Heart does sell it, but we don't carry it this large yet. My guess is we probably will eventually. But this is what I purchased. It was just the Cricut clear acetate sheets. If you don't have access to that, I do have an affiliate link at the bottom of my website, and you can certainly order it there. So when you're using the acetate, it does have, from Cricut, it does have a film on both sides. So I've already taken that film off just to make things easy. And this is what my piece has cut out with. So I am going to flip that over, and I am going to use my tape runner before I do anything else, and I'm going to adhere this. Now, one thing that I will tell you is these little narrower pieces down in here, you do need to make sure you at least capture those a little bit, because otherwise they tend to pop up. I noticed that on the first few cards that I did, okay? So we're going to put down this base just so you can see better. Here's my acetate, and I'm going to line up this perfectly as I can. And if it's not perfect, you can trim it. I've trimmed it. Nobody knew the difference. We're just going to line it up and lay it down. Hopefully that white can help you see a little bit better. Okay. So that is what our piece is going to look like, okay? So then what I'm gonna do is I went ahead and I pulled, and I might not get these in the exact same positions, and that's okay. But I cut it a second time, and when I cut it, I kept the pieces that cut out of it, okay? So I want to bring in a little bit more color. And so I'm just simply going to attach those, to the acetate. Now, you could use a liquid glue. That would be great. But because of the timing of creating the video live, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want it to be wiggling around. And then I chose 2 narrow pieces. So my narrow pieces are going to go just like this. They're going to go about there. And here is the second one that we're going to put down. And I think I want that about there. And if they don't fit perfectly, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pink piece. I used ballerina. This is gonna be my base. And I'm actually gonna put this on my card because I find that it's easier to go ahead and adhere it first, okay? We're not doing any stamping on it, so you don't have to worry about messing up your stamping, etc. Okay, so then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this, and I am going to take my thin foam tape. So Close to My Heart has 2 types of tape. We have regular and we have thin as far as height. And then within that we have narrow and we have wide. So this is the thin narrow. You can use whichever one you want. One of the awesome things about our foam tape is that it is the same height if you are with thin, regardless if you're using the narrow, wide, or the dots, and the same thing for the thick. So if you run out or if you need to switch gears, you don't have to worry about that. So I do need to make sure that I am taking my foam tape all the way around the edges. Otherwise, your shakers are gonna go all over the place, right? As soon as you start shaking them, they're gonna seep out. So you do need to go all the way around. You notice that I put a couple on the big pieces going across, and I'm gonna do a couple more of those. And that serves two purposes. First of all, it's going to support this piece. We don't want it to fall all the way down. We don't want it to get smushed. We want it to stay flat on the top, right? We don't want mountains and valleys so it to kind of curve inside. The second thing is when you're doing a shaker, you don't want your pieces to all end up in one corner of the card, right? That kind of stinks, because then it kind of loses its fun factor. So I'm going to create kind of like little tunnels or channels for those to go down. And then actually, because of the diagonal on this card, it looks completely awesome. I was so delighted with it. Okay, so I have my whole edge, so nothing's gonna get out, right? I missed a spot there, but it's not gonna seep out there. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my foam tape and I'm just gonna come in, and I'm trying, if you notice, I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm trying to pick the wider ones so I don't have to mess with my tape as much, and make sure that it's not seen on the other side, okay? I think that that's important. We're gonna put this down like this, and I think I still want one more channel, so I think this one's just gonna be a really, really narrow one, and that's okay. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're actually going to get out our pieces. These are those fun little confetti things, and we're gonna come down the channels. Make sure if you have a narrow space, like the one I have there, that you get some into that space too. And you need them to be as flat as possible, because if they stick up, then it's not gonna stick to the card. It's gonna prevent the card from attaching. You also don't want to overwhelm it with too many, because then they're overcrowded and they can't really shake, right? Now for this one, I am using everything in the little bag. I'm not cherry picking my hearts, but on the one that I showed earlier, which was this guy, I picked out all of the green ones because there was no green on my card and it just didn't really make logical sense to me. So if you want to cherry pick them and pick the ones that you want, you could certainly do that. I'm a Buckeye through and through, so I love anything red and black, and pink's my favorite color. So this whole set just really spoke to me. Okay, so the only one that I really don't have many in is this really narrow channel. They're not gonna really go very far in that one, and that's okay. All right, so that's about the coverage that I want. I'm just double checking to make sure that nothing is too high, etc. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna pull off this foam tape. And when you do that, you need to be very careful and hold down your piece, because if you just kind of half-happedly pull them off because you're so excited and not holding it down, if the piece moves, then these little hearts are gonna flip up and stick to your foam tape. And then you're gonna have a heck of a time trying to get them off that tape, because you know they just wanna stick to it. So I'm gonna pull them all off. Normally I would say don't worry about pulling all of it off because it's more for flatness. But in this case, we do want it to, because we don't want our hearts to get stuck between our little channels, okay? So I think that one, I think I have this one still. And then I think I need to go around the edges. The foam tape, I don't know if I would assume Close to My Heart probably did it on purpose, but it is perfect for this rim. It's maybe 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch. Now I'm just tapping, see how that one popped out? I'm just tapping carefully. See, you can see what I shouldn't have done. to make sure that I got all my tape off, and it looks like it's kind of hard to tell sometimes. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our card to our piece, but I forgot to double check. Double check if your card only goes one way. Okay, my hearts go one specific way, so I need to make sure that I fix that. Okay, so I need my card to go this way. So any of my little jumpers, I'm gonna push back down. When I lifted it, that was a no-no. But now you see that we are certainly not perfect either. Okay, so my seam goes to the top. I'm gonna put my card directly to that. And again, if you get off a little bit, that's what scissors are for, right? So you can see that now my pieces go up and down my channels, and they move around where they're supposed to. And I have one little oopsie here that I can see, and it looks like that's the only oopsie I have. So I went ahead and just cut that off. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is we're gonna set that aside a second. I'm gonna use my sponge because that just makes life easier. I'm gonna glue down my rim, and I cut an extra one because I'm by far not a perfect stamper. But it is easier to see it this way. So I'm gonna put the rim onto the solid heart. These were cut with that thin cut I was telling you about. I'm gonna pull out the candy apple ink. You could use any of the colors. There's a mint, we also use flamingo and ballerina in this card. So any one that you want. I'm gonna ink my stamp really well, and then I'm gonna take my cleaning cloth and wipe off any edge because I don't want to get any edge anywhere except there. And then I'm just gonna come down. The cushion creates a mat or cushioning so that you get a better stamped image, okay? And that is what we're going for. And then you can just wipe it off with the cloth, just like that. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop this whole thing up on foam. And I used my thin earlier, so I'm gonna use my thick now. Pull it apart. It is still, it's not thick, sorry, it's the wide. It's still the thin, but it is the wide. And we're gonna pop that up. And just a couple pieces. It doesn't have to be, you know, super duper. I'm gonna set that aside, okay? So then the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and attach my cardstock pieces, my strips. And I want the darker or the lighter side. All of our cardstock has two sides, so I want the lighter. I'm gonna simply put the paper on the glitter so that there's a little bit of a glitter showing, okay? Then what I am gonna do is put it on my card. And when I do mine, I tend to extend my piece a little bit so I don't cut myself too short, okay? I'm gonna do that, and then I just snip it on the other side. And then what I'll do, if I'm doing something like this, is then I'll just put that little piece in my card, not to waste it, because I hate wasting anything, just like that, okay? So now I'm gonna put my heart on. And I will remind you that all of my specials, as well as a tutorial on some of the other cards I've showed you, will be available at 𝐂𝐨𝐧𝐧𝐞. I'm gonna do that at a slight angle. I also have another little guy here. And then make sure you check out every single day next month, or every single day in January. I will have a new layout and a new product special that coordinates with that featured layout. So for example, if it was the layout that I showed you earlier, then I might do a special on the die cut that I used, etc. So that's kind of how I do it. My customers love it. I usually do it in the month of December, but you know, December was just really crazy, and so I thought I would give everybody something to look forward to in the month of January this year. And that one goes there, just like that. And then if you want to add a sentiment, you can. I'm gonna leave this one blank, but you certainly could add a sentiment to the card. And then you are all done. You have a shaker slimline card featuring our brand new diagonal slimline die. We're awesome, right? Okay guys, so that's what I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful January, a wonderful new year. Again, my site is www.inallsassiness.com, and whatever you do, make it sassy.